Am I going crazy? Or did my fiance cheat on me during Stampede? So this happened during Calgary Stampede, a country music city-wide fest with rodeos and concerts. I was unable to attend this year as I was visiting family in South America. My fiancée joined me on this trip to visit my family but had to return early as her workplace highly encourages networking during Stampede. She works in ONG, so this is a great time of year to network with current and potential clients. Had no qualms about her going without me as we've been together since university and are due to get married next spring. However, I was a bit unnerved when I got a bunch of drunken texts from her on the first day. Since this is her first time going for work, I wasn't really expecting her to get drunk or rowdy given that her company is pretty formal, way more formal than the tech company I work for. These texts were sent at like 12 p.m. so I was like, hey, slow down or you will regret it. Which apparently annoyed her and she didn't really text me until she got back home at 7 p.m. NBD, right? Well, the second day was even worse. She kept updating her Snap stories with just shot after shot and was always surrounded by a bunch of dudes. Apparently her firm was showing around a bunch of Brits who were quite rowdy, which is why the second date evolved into even more drinking. The guys were very clearly flirting with her and were even a bit handsy. They kept touching her and pulling her into hugs. So I was not very pleased. That night she messages me at 11 p.m. saying that she only just got home. Now it's day 3 and I am pissed. My future bride-to-be has been getting plastered hanging around a bunch of dudes using work as a flimsy excuse. It also doesn't help that her outfits consisted of short skirts or sundresses to fit in the country theme. So I tell her about my feelings and that her not going, or at the very least not drinking on the third day, would really help assuage my fears/jealousy. She says fine, and I'm cool with it, chalking it off to corporate pressure and anxiety for her odd behavior. My fiancée never drinks. Even in uni she was always the mama bear and took care of the drunkies instead of getting trashed herself. Now everything is fine, right? Nope, not in the slightest. So one of my good friends works for a rival firm in the same industry and was coincidentally attending the same industry event as she was, and I asked him to go say hi to the wife and take a selfie surprising her. He comes back with a video of her and him taking these massive tequila shots. Of course she's around those Brits and one of them has his hand right on the small of her back. In the video you can clearly hear the British guy saying whoa, knock 'em back, whilst looking appreciatively at her boobs. Of course she's wearing the flimsiest outfit today out of all 3 days, not even sure how that's allowed, tbh usually she/s in business formal attire for work events. I say nothing and don't text her that day until she FaceTimes me that evening. She is of course plastered and has a bunch of people over at our place. 2 of them I recognize as females from her workplace, but of course 2 of the Brits are also there. She says that it was their last day so they are all going to a casino and that her place was right beside the casino. That is true, we are walking distance from the casino, so she invited everyone over to freshen up before going. I'm raging internally but can't get too angry as I don't want to freak her out and exacerbate the situation. That night she messages me at 12 a.m. to tell me she's finally home. She skipped the final day and this has been months since, but I cannot shake off the feeling she cheated, especially as I asked her to try on this really sexy piece of lingerie I had bought her a few months prior. She said that she can't find it and made excuses for why there's no point of looking. I keep thinking she might have used it that night with one of the Brits. She was always beside the blonde one in both the corporate photos and the Snap/Insta stories she was posting. Am I crazy? Or am I getting played? Comment. Until you have actual proof it's hard to say if she did or not. Ask her straight out. You should know her well enough to know if she is lying. If you don't ask her you will never know, and it will eat at you. Man up and straight up ask her. Stampede is one big week-long drunk. I have been in her situation with co-workers and drinking till all hours of the night in Calgary, and didn't end up cheating. There were several people there in the apartment with the Brits, and she did message you when she got home. She was in public and there were lots of people around. I have seen hookups on the spot or even in portable bathrooms, but nothing in your story suggests this was happening. Everyone gets flirty during Stampede, and acts like they are on a cruise, but going out for 3 days to party corporately is not unusual in certain industries for Stampede. If she never MSG'd you, that would be shady. But she did when she got home. Stampede is 10 days of unhinged partying. The city is absolutely lit up from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. every single day. It's a big test for relationships, but ONG is basically a partying guarantee. Like, Stampede is made for them. I'm not saying you don't have a right to be worried, but my partner and I go and get rowdy. I also get sensitive about stuff like this, but at the end of the day you either trust her or you don't. If you have a problem with her partying, that's one thing. If you have a problem with her partying while you're not there, that's an entirely other thing. Both require a chat. Just ask her straight up if you're worried. The only way this gets resolved. I'm leaning she didn't cheat and was just having a good time. She was probably upset with you for grilling her about what she was wearing and doing. She was there for work, and probably didn't appreciate the interrogations of what was happening the whole time. She may have also thought you sent your friend to spy on her. Either way, I think it comes down to if you trust her or not. I would never do this if in a relationship. Even clubbing without my man would be a no from me. But that's just my opinion, and my best friend does the same. If we get touched at all in public by a man, then we're going home. As a female too, we're usually on high alert when it comes to being touched by men. I don't know, man. Only marry someone if you're 100% like yes. Also, bringing other men in your home? Seems like your own property has been violated. That's your safe space. She didn't ask if she could bring other men into it, which says to me that there isn't enough respect. So she got drunk and handsy with these guys. You told her about how this looks, and you're not cool with it? Her solution was to wear even more revealing clothing, get plastered again, then invite everyone back to your place. She then also loses the outfit you bought for more intimate time. Sorry to say, all roads are pointing towards she fucked one of these guys. Also, it's not policing her. It's called respecting the relationship. She wants to be single, fine, be single, don't be engaged, and pull shit like this. Yeah, your last sentence is what I was thinking too, looking at the replies that are saying they think nothing happened. If the roles were reversed, and this was a gal writing about how her fiancé was letting girls get handsy and ogling him for days while they drank and then invited those same girls to their house, well, I believe wholeheartedly the reactions would be different. And they shouldn't be. That said, tough to tell if she cheated, but I think we all have to admit, the missing lingerie is kind of weird. Next story 2. My ex-husband got a girl pregnant and then immediately dumped her. I told my ex-husband's new baby mama his custody tricks. I'm hoping I made the right decision. My ex-husband recently got into getting women pregnant and dumping them. He started with me, but we were married. Within a few months of our divorce being finalized, he got a new girl pregnant and immediately dumped her. I didn't like that because the girl is younger than us, and it felt like a really dirty trick. They've been together 4 months. Sure, it was her fault too, but it seemed extra yucky because he's a good 6 years older than her. She's in her early 20s. He refuses to pay child support, which I work around. I make decent money. We have 50/50 custody due to the automatic law in Arkansas for married couples with children. He will not split bills or anything else with me. The new girl is a waitress who just moved in with her mom to make ends meet. I criticized him for dumping her because he said she just wasn't the one. His immaturity about the situation annoyed me. I asked if he was going to pay her child support, and he said he can be a good father without paying child support. It made me angry, so I typed up all the tips I could give her that I learned the hard way. I sent them to her and told her she could use the info or ignore it, but that I felt she deserved to know. The tips were like, judges won't take a breastfeeding baby from its mother, so don't use formula at the hospital so you have records of breastfeeding and stuff like that. I totally acknowledge that this is none of my business, but I went through it and I feel for her. He is manipulative and financially abusive. Should I have just let it alone? He told me never to talk to her again, but our kids are siblings. She also did not have any complaints about me talking to her. She didn't even tell him what I said, but he's jumping all over me about it. I don't want to see that baby or the mother hurt the way we had to. We, my baby and I, struggled for a long time to get by. I realized that I misspoke when I said child support. I meant he doesn't pay his half of the medical bills, clothes, and other costs for our child. Comment. This. I applaud Op for supporting the younger woman and her child through this and actually considering them family now. Op, you are building a family unit and setting a beautiful example for your children, and their siblings. Fair warning, though, dirty guys like this, learn all the tricks to get around it. I should know I've been fighting a man for nearly 12 years for child support. He can brag to me left, right and center about all the things he's taken his other child, the only one of 3 or 4 he has, that he actually takes care of. Mine is the second oldest, to do, or how she's in private school and I can show the court those texts and they don't care because he doesn't have any assets. His business is in his father's name, his car is in his mom's name, same with his house, he gets paid under the table via his father and I can prove all of this, but because he doesn't have a record of a job or money in his name they can't collect jack for all from him. Slimy dudes are really good about being slimy and will do anything to get out of responsibilities. My friend is going through a divorce and her ex literally changed jobs. He worked for a long time to get to the level he was at in his career and he's switched to a lower paying job further down the chain. He's trying to get full custody and is going after her for child support. Thankfully there are enough people who can attest to her doing absolutely everything for her son and him doing next to nothing, but when I heard all of that nonsense I couldn't believe the shit he's trying to pull. Manipulative people know exactly what they're doing. Yeah, we told her as much. She's trying to keep it as simple as possible but he's not choosing to do the same. She casually dropped that info with some frustration and myself and one of our other co-workers, who divorced a long time ago, we were all astounded. Thankfully there's been a pattern of issues, mostly around child care, and there's plenty of documentation of her needing to leave work early to pick up their kid, or not come in at all because she can't find childcare and ex won't stay home. Not only did she work much longer hours, on her feet, but she was expected to come home to cook, clean, and care for the kids. I think she'll be alright legally, I just feel so bad that she's dealing with his bullshit still. Unfortunately she's going to have fight the way he's fighting. I get wanting it to be as easy and as simple as possible, however he wants to cause problems, not fix them. I went through a divorce in 21. No kids with him cause I'm old. LOL. However I had to be exceptionally nice to get what I wanted. As soon as the divorce was final he blocked me on FB. He would text me on holidays. I never responded. Then he unblocked me to send me a message on Messenger, cause he was worried about me or so he said in the message, so I blocked him on FB. Never talked to him again. He has since died. I didn't want him dead but I'm not sad. He was a hateful, angry man that I never have to deal with again. Exactly. My son's father lost a high-paying job, he claimed short-term disability at least once a year and eventually after 10 years they said no more, to work at a home improvement store. He said he could only work part-time because of health conditions. Judge asked for a doctor's note and when he couldn't produce one, child support was based off of 40 hours not the 20 he was working. Then he got ordered to prove job searches for higher paying jobs. He never did that and never got anything but reminders to do so. Eventually I said to make it a final order and I'm done with him at the 40 hours times his pay rate. You would think so but apparently that's not happening. The man is such a deadbeat that every few months I'll get a text begging me to cancel child support. Like this last time he claimed he had a job in Mexico and I was preventing him from being able to get that job because he can't get his passport due to back support. Claiming if I cancelled support he'd pay me like 3x what our current payment is supposed to be. LMFAO. Have you contacted the IRS? With the proof you have, you could set him on fire. The IRS is looking for these people. Plus his family might possibly have to answer a few questions about money coming and going. And when your daughter reaches 18, she can personally sue him for non-support. She might be able to go after his parents too. Because they felicitate his abandonment and non-support. My friend's daughter napalmed her dad. A civil lawsuit is different.